Have you ever noticed that the people who look the richest usually aren't? The flashy cars, the designer brands, and Instagram-worthy VIP lifestyle, 90% of the time it's all just a facade, an illusion. Meanwhile, the people actually building wealth drive 10-year-old Toyotas and wear worn-out sneakers because they know a secret that most don't. Today, I want to share 6 reasons why looking poor is important. And when I say poor, I don't mean looking homeless. That might be taking it a bit too far. But if you look like you don't have much, you'll have less stress, more money, and more happiness. Looking rich keeps you poor. Looking rich is like a leash, and the more things you own, the shorter the leash, and the less free you are. That's when the things you own can start to own you. Looking rich is expensive. It keeps you in survival mode. Yet so many people line up outside the Apple store when a new iPhone comes out. They'll buy a new truck to look cool, they'll live in a house that's bigger than they need, and order takeout all the time. Because hey, I work hard, I deserve it, right? But a recent study found that 59% of Americans don't have enough money to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. And according to a survey by MarketWatch, almost 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, including 48% of those earning over $100,000 and 36% of those earning over $200,000. That's mind-boggling. Whatever they're doing, I do not want to do. So how are they paying for these things? The answer is debt. Debt keeps you poor. In fact, looking rich may be the fastest way to go broke, and it definitely won't make you rich. It's not just the upfront cost. Say the company you work for has had a really good year and everyone gets a $6,000 bonus. Now, if you're focused on looking rich, you may spend that money on a toy, on a trip, or something to flex on Instagram. But the real loss is the opportunity cost. If you put the $6,000 into the S&P 500, which averages a 10% annual return, it will be worth $40,000 in 20 years, without adding a single dollar. That's the power of compound interest. If you're okay with looking poor, you have more control over your money, more peace of mind, and ultimately more control over your life. If you'd like more tips like this, I read a newsletter about how to live with less and bring more calm into your life. If that sounds interesting, there's a sign-up link in the description below. True wealth whispers. One of the biggest ironies of money is that you don't need to look rich to be rich. People who are truly wealthy don't need to prove it to anyone. But that's hard for many people to understand, because we can't see someone's investment account, but we can't see that really expensive sports car or that mansion with the pool. And that reinforces the idea that being rich is something visible. Take Warren Buffett, for example, one of the richest men alive. I've never seen him flaunt a $100,000 Patek Philippe watch on Instagram. Instead, he drives a 10-year-old Cadillac and still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for a little over $30,000. He once said, "Would 10 homes make me happier? Possessions possess you at a point." True wealth whispers. It's not thrown in your face. The average person like you and me can build wealth by understanding the power of looking poor. It's about living a modest, intentional life and making smart financial decisions. That's not a flashy lifestyle. It won't get you admiring looks on the street or likes on social media. But that's how you break the cycle of spending and start building real wealth. Looking rich is just renting status. A lot of us want to look rich to justify our existence, to feel like we matter. Look people, I'm not a failure. I have this brand new truck. Would a failure have this big shiny truck? We are wired for social approval. Thousands of years ago, fitting in with the group meant access to resources, protection, and support. But the strategies many of us use today to gain status have the opposite effect. They drain our resources and leave us feeling stressed and vulnerable. Keeping up with the Jonases is exhausting and it's never ending. Looking rich is just renting status, and it's not a one-time payment. You have to keep paying rent in order to maintain it. That new car or new phone won't be as shiny in 6 months. And you can't keep posting the same pictures from your holiday to the Bahamas and expect the same reaction. This is called the hedonic treadmill. No matter how fast you run, you're going nowhere. You just have to keep running, keep paying rent for status just to stay in the same place. And social media only magnifies this pressure. The problem with trying to look rich to gain status is that that doesn't pay your bills. In fact, it creates more of them, and that can cost you your future. The way I see it, if the Jonas' grass is greener, their water bill is probably a lot higher too. And I don't need that in my life. When you're okay with looking poor, you don't need to impress anyone. I mean, I don't think anyone is going to be impressed with the jeans I'm wearing right now or this pretty nondescript sweater. And I don't even own a car, let alone a truck. But that's fine by me. Looking poor gets you there faster. What do you want more of in life? For most of the things that truly matter, looking poor gets you there faster. Whether it's financial freedom, leaving a job for one that's more fulfilling but pays less, spending more time with loved ones, or early retirement, or even the ability to retire at all. In the psychology of money, Morgan Housel writes, "The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today." And that's exactly it. The freedom to choose what to do, when to do it, and who to share your time and attention with for as long as you want is invaluable. Freedom really is the greatest ROI that money can offer. But having high fixed costs every month and being in debt keeps you tied to a job you may hate but feel you can't escape. The money I save by looking poor gives me freedom. It allows me to take risks, like going all in on YouTube this year, hoping that at some point I'll break even, because making these videos is what I enjoy doing. So if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. Try it. It's fun and it's free. Looking rich attracts the wrong people. On his MTV Unplugged album, Eric Clapton sings this song. "Once I lived the life of a millionaire, spent all my money, didn't have any care. Then I began to fall so low. Lost all my good friends, had nowhere to go. Because nobody knows you when you're down and out. When you get back on your feet again, everybody wants to be your long-lost friend. It's mighty strange, without any doubt. Nobody knows you when you're down and out." Those lyrics remind me of the saying, "Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan." When you look rich, people take notice, but not always the ones who have your best interest at heart. It attracts people that may want to take advantage of you. Your family and friends may feel entitled to your money, and fake friends and opportunists show up only to disappear when the money does, when you're down and out, like in the Eric Clapton song. If you're perceived as wealthy, it's more likely you'll get charged higher prices for services than if you look like an average Joe. And you can even get scammed or robbed. On the other hand, if you look poor, you attract the kind of people that appreciate you for who you really are on the inside. Your authenticity, your values. That's the kind of people you want in your life. So it's best not to look rich, especially if you don't actually have a lot of money in the bank, so people won't try to take advantage of you. Looking poor makes your life simple. Confucius said, "Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated." And I'd argue that the same goes for money. Most people go into debt over wants, not needs. Once you understand that you only need a few things to thrive, basically a roof over your head and food on the table, and the rest are just wants, money becomes simple. Live below your means, avoid anything you can't afford, and save a portion of your income every month. Life gets complicated when you want to look rich, because when you buy a new thing, it often doesn't stop there. Have you heard of the Diderot effect? It's the idea that getting a new possession often triggers a spiral of consumption. It's named after the French philosopher Denis Diderot, who lived a few centuries ago. He bought a new scarlet robe, and then all his other possessions looked dull in comparison. So he kept spending and spending just to match everything with the scarlet robe, and he ended up in debt. What a lot of people don't realize is that many purchases come with extra costs. Not just the money, but also time, energy, and stress. Designer clothes may require dry cleaning, a car needs repairs, regular checkups, and maybe high interest payments if you took out a loan. A big house means higher utility bills and more time spent cleaning. And a Louis Vuitton bag may have you constantly worrying about damaging or losing it. When you realize this, the question to ask yourself is, are these purchases still worth it? Not for me. I have an iPhone 12, which I'm actually recording this video on. It's more than 4 years old, but it's still fine. My clothes are mostly bought on sale and not branded, like this one. And when I need to go somewhere, I often walk or take public transport. I find that when I keep things simple, I'm happier. The things I own serve a purpose. They're not there to impress others. Not owing anything to anyone gives me peace of mind. I want to have enough FU money in the bank that I never have to do anything I don't want to do. I find joy in simplicity, quiet, and freedom. But looking rich just keeps you chasing more, instead of appreciating what you have. If this is something you struggle with, I've come across something helpful. An interesting but not so well-known technique to better appreciate the things you own. I made a separate video about it called How to Want What You Already Have, which you can watch by clicking right here. So thanks for watching today's video. I hope you got some value out of it. And I'd love to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.